Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope everything is good and great and wonderful. Everything here is pretty darn good. I took today off from work. I do that sometimes. I like to take Mondays off because I never understood the people who take Fridays off. Like, Friday's the best day of work, so why would you take that day off? And then I always took Mondays. Like, I don't want to go to work on Monday. That's when everybody's grumpy. I personally enjoy Mondays. I enjoy going back to work and getting, back into things, but everybody else just seems to hate it, and then I don't want to be around them. So I take Mondays off. Anyway, the point is, I did that, and then I got to spend a few hours in here working, and I used the camera rig with the inexpensive GoPro-like camera, and I spent probably a good 2.5, 3 hours in here. I had quite a few problems with this, actually, and I did a review of it a while back, basically on just playing with it a little bit, but today I actually put it through its paces. I did time lapses. I used my phone as a remote, like it's got a Wi-Fi enabled, so I can look on my phone and see the video, because when you've got the Wi-Fi turned on so that I can stop and play it, there's no screen back here. And also, if the camera's set up somewhere and I'm looking at it, I can't see me. I don't know if I'm in frame. I don't know if I'm pointing at what I'm supposed to be pointing at. So having my phone here so that I can see what's going on is helpful. But it seemed to cause the camera to lock up a lot. The time lapse seemed to cause the camera to lock up a lot. And at one point, it got super duper hot. Like, couldn't touch it hot. And that was really concerning. But other than that, it did really well. The camera rig itself, this iSteady rig, amazing. I really enjoyed working with it all day. But I really wasn't here to talk about the camera. I was here to talk about me getting ahead of myself and messing up. And it seems like every single project I've ever done, at some point I rush through something because of either overconfidence or feeling pressure, and then I either have to fix it or I just never finish it. And in today's project, I was working on Keeley's headboard, and this is kind of the frame for the headboard. This will be like a top shelf, and I cut a hole in it here for a power strip to go through. I bought like one of these inset power strips. So this will go in, and she'll have a nice little, place to plug in her phone and stuff. This will be the top of the headboard. So I was working on this, and this is going to attach to the actual headboard with pocket screws. And I don't know if you can tell, but I drilled all of the pocket holes on the wrong side of the headboard because I got ahead of myself. This power strip is offset to one side because I wanted it to be closer to the wall so that the bricks and stuff can stick out without poking her in the head if she's leaning against this. And for some reason, I drilled all of those pocket holes wrong. And I thought about it for a while. It's not a big deal. You're never going to see the inside of this thing. Nobody's ever going to know that those are there besides the 20 people that watch this video. But it's just frustrating. And I realized that part of that frustration is probably part of the reason why I stopped filming projects. I still make stuff. I make stuff a lot, but I don't film it. And the reason is, I think, when I've got that camera running, I turn it on, and I've got, say, 40 minutes of tape, or whatever, SD card. That's kind of like a running clock. Like, I'm under pressure to produce content in short spurts so that I can edit and put it all together in a meaningful way. And so it's like a clock's running. It's like setting a timer, like go, and then you have to go. And I end up making stupid mistakes. I almost screwed this whole thing together before I cut this pocket out, which would have made cutting this pocket out significantly more difficult. And I caught myself doing that. I drilled all those holes wrong. I had to re-drill all those holes. I started to put one of the side support legs on and realized I was going to put it on wrong, so I had to go upstairs and double check. It's a lot of pressure. And as I looked through the edit that I started, we started this project like a month ago, and I got a whole bunch of footage, and I put it all together, and I started the edit, and I was having fun with it, but then I started to think about having to do the voiceover, and I don't want to do that. I don't enjoy doing voiceover. So today, the thought was, let me bring the camera out, starting with the project where it is right now, a glued up panel and some cut down pieces, and I'll just start talking to the camera as I work. And I've been watching a whole lot of Adam Savage over the past couple of months of lockdown. He's been doing crazy amounts of videos every week where he's working in his shop and making stuff, and he's just doing it on his iPhone on a tripod. There you go. And I love it. Like, it's just very natural. It's just like sitting in the shop with him and he's talking to you through the process. And I thought, I'm going to try that with this little camera, work on this project. And even then, I got ahead of myself and I started screwing up. And I don't know why. I don't get it. This is why I've said I'd like to have somebody videoing for me, because then I know that they could stop and start the camera and just get good clips, so I don't have to dig through a whole bunch of wasted time while I work on something. But funnily enough, I tend to work really well under pressure. I don't know why I fail when I'm under pressure by myself working on something that I feel really confident. You know, this is just screwing 3 boards together and screwing those to a panel. Like, that's not a complicated task whatsoever. It's a very simple task. But I feel inadequate when I do stuff like this, and I don't know why. It's frustrating. That's what I did today. How was your weekend? I had a great weekend with the girls. We went to IKEA and we got furniture for their bedrooms. The closest IKEA is like an hour-and-a-half drive in Pittsburgh. We had to wear masks and all that stuff, and we got furniture. We put that together. We had fireworks on Saturday. We had a little cookout. My dad came over. We had hamburgers and hot dogs, and then we put more furniture together. We had fireworks. So we hung out yesterday. Went shopping a little bit at a craft store. Oh, and my girls put together they stayed up Saturday night, like late into the morning, turning my daughter's room into an escape room. They had made like little paper locks and a bunch of clues, and they're like, "Dad, we want you to solve our escape room." And I couldn't. I made it. I think I still had 2 locks to go when we had an hour. It took me like an hour and 10 minutes. It was really good. They did a really good job. The red herrings were great. The puzzles were awesome. Some of the puzzles they had seen before in other escape rooms, and they kind of pieced them in. But some of them were their own creations, and they were really fun and intriguing. So I had a blast doing that. But it was a good weekend, and so I thought, finish up a good weekend by finishing this project. I'd really like to get her headboard done. Now that she has other furniture in her room, I'd like to have her room kind of finished. And I just screwed it up, and it made me feel terrible. I kind of stopped working on it. I'll get back to it. I don't know when, but I'm at the point now where it basically just needs sanded and screwed together and stained. So it's not a whole lot left. But how was your weekend? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you. Thank you very much for being here as always. Thank you for liking and commenting and subscribing and being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I will see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know is bifurcate. It is a verb meaning to divide something into 2 branches or forks. Francois Truffaut defined a great movie as a perfect blend of truth and spectacle. Now it's become bifurcated. Studio films are all spectacle and no truth. Independent films are all truth and no spectacle. Howard Franklin, an American screenwriter and director. Bifurcate. B-I-F-U-R-C-A-T-E.